Sawasdee krap. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to our speaker from the UK as well. Welcome to our online seminar, ISPF Early Career Fellowship Information Section held by the British Council in collaboration with Imperial College London. My name is Pak Orchenamrunmi, based in Bangkok, Thailand. Happy to be your host for today. This session aims to provide you more information about our Early Career Fellowships program, which is delivered by the British Council with Imperial College London under ISPF or International Science Partnership Fund. This section will include an overview of our International Science Partnership Fund and followed by our program and also further details for application as well as related to research areas, exclusively for applicants from Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia. Lastly, we will also have Q&A session, which we have received some question upon your registration and more if it raised during the session as well. So as you are listening along, please feel free to type your question in our chat box and we will get back later in the dedicated section. Also, this session will be conducted in English and also will be recorded. So after the presentation or the information section today, we will also share the recording with you through emails. So before getting started, so I just want to give an overview of the International Science Partnerships Fund, which was recently announced back in late 2022 from UK's Department for Science, Innovation and Technology. This funding scheme is to allow UK researchers, innovators to work with international peers under overarching themes in planet, health, technology, and talent. You may also have heard about the Newton Fund or Global Challenge Research Fund, shortly called as GCRF, which was delivered a few years ago, and those programs were no longer delivered until now. The ISPF is similar, serve as a continuation of both funding opportunities. So just to give you an overview about the British Council also as well. So we are one of the delivery partners to the ISPF, which is similar to PMUs in case that you may have here in Thailand. So we are one of the funding management agency that also manage ISPF in many countries. Also in Thailand, so they might also have some other programs from other delivery partners or funding agency as well, apart the British Council. So we are intercultural organization aiming to build connection, understanding, and trust between people in the UK and other countries, including Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia, through our work in the arts, education, and English. So let's get to talk about our fellowship scheme for today, which is highlight for today. So the early career fellowship scheme are specifically designed to widen participation to support careers of researchers from different backgrounds, including those backgrounds who are underrepresented in their research fields. So if you are someone who have not yet held a full-time research-related post or academic post with a research-specific element, or if you are someone who wish to have a research experience in the UK, this program may be suitable for you, and this program might also include to converting your doctoral work into publications or other academic outputs and establishing new research relationship with your host institution. So if talking about what is the benefits of this program, so definitely these programs will cover your stipend per annum. So it is value up to 31K per annum. And then you will also be covered of research related expense. So there will be up to 8,000 per 12 months, and it will be calculated pro rata for shorter fellowship as well. So for research related expense, this includes consumable, small equipments, travel and subsistence within the UK, publication costs, or other expense related to your research project as well. This program will also cover your IELTS exam fee in order to, as part of your requirement to apply for this course as well. And also we also cover return economy class travel from home country to the UK, and also other visa insurance and also NHS surcharge courses will be covered in this program as well. So another information which is shouldn't be missed is what are the criteria of fellows or somebody that who wish to apply. So definitely under this call, we are looking for someone who are permanent residents either in Thailand, Laos, or Cambodia, and also you need to be an early career researcher and have a letter of acceptance from the hosting lab. So this will also be taken care later in this section as well. And also the definition of early career researcher, I will also cover in next slide. Please also note that as of the date that you are applying, you shouldn't be currently in any receipt of financial support or funding towards any other programs in the UK from any other sources. You will also need to meet the English language requirement as required by Imperial College London in this case. Also, you will also have a background or proven interest in the proposed research areas. So you will find more information about research areas in the next, in the next few minutes. And also, last but not least, you also need to show that you are willing to demonstrate future contribution to capacity building and also socio-economic development through the benefits achieved after completing the fellowship program. So definitely we want to see after your experience in the UK, how you're going to apply or contribute to your socio-economic advancement in your country, whether or not it is in Thailand, Laos, or Cambodia. So as the program is designed for early career researchers, so under this case, we want to define our ECR or early career researchers as someone who have completed or are close to complete of their PhD degrees, or somebody who's potentially waiting for their final Viva Voce examination, which must be passed prior to taking up the award. So our early career researchers will not have held a permanent academic post or a post with a research related element, or one which allow them to supervise PhD students or submit research grants as a principal investigator. So you can have some post that is only related to teaching. For example, if you are lecturers or academic related roles, such as professional academic support or back office supporting roles that does not related to research roles. So it's not gonna affect your status to apply as long as there's no research element was part of your role. So if also in the other case, if you are researchers but you doesn't have any PhD degree just yet, but your past experience also have some equivalent to PhD or holder in terms of researching experience, that could also be eligible to apply under this call as well. We expect that participants are from either higher education institutions or research institutions. But if you are currently from for-profit organization, unfortunately, you may not be able to apply for this call. And also, as we move toward greater inclusivity and also inclusion for early career researchers, there's no limit of counting years in terms of you have any specific of taking career breaks or anything. So as long as you met in terms of the criteria above mentioned about the status of your careers and also study in terms of PhD or things like that, you can also encouraged to apply for this course as well. So again, if you have any questions during this time, please feel free to type in our Q&A section, and there's also a chat box there to provide, and we will get it back to you later after this section. So without any further ado, I would like to hand the next section to our partner under this program from Imperial College London to provide more information about the university as well as research area under this course. So I would like to introduce Professor Asra Ghani, a director of the MRC Centre of Global Infectious Disease Analysis at Imperial College London. Over to you, Asra.
Great, thank you very much. Just take a minute while we switch the slides. Great, thank you very much. So as I've been introduced already, I'm the director of the MRC Centre for Global Infectious Disease Analysis and a professor here in the department. And our centre is based within the School of Public Health at Imperial College London. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview first of the centre, of some of the activities that we do in the research areas, and that will hopefully open up then to questions, particularly if you have any questions about the particular disease areas or work that we do, or indeed on the eligibility, which is an area that many people are concerned about. So just to give an overview, our centre is an international centre of excellence for research and capacity building, really focusing on epidemiology and mathematical modelling and genomic analysis of infectious diseases. And I've put the infectious diseases in bold there because that's really the focus of our area. Elsewhere in the School of Public Health, we do have work on chronic diseases, but our focus is just on the infectious side. And much of the work that we do is very applied and collaborative with national and international agencies across the globe. So we're very much interested in global problems, so that you could be working on something that is very specific to your current country of residence. But we're also interested in supporting projects that could be in other areas. So this centre has been established since 2007, and this particular call is joint also with the Jameel Institute, which is an allied institute that overlaps both with our MRC Centre, but also includes a few wider people in the business school and elsewhere in the School of Public Health. The centre has around 200 people, so it's a very active research centre with over 30 academic staff, many independent research fellows, and a very large number of PhD students. So this should make it a very nice and collaborative and welcoming environment for you to come and spend a year working with us. So there's been some confusion, I think, about how you think about the potential supervisors. So in the guidance that we've provided, we have links to two different pages, which I'll show you on the share on the next slide, and we can put in the chat as well if that's helpful. So what we're looking for when you put your application in is not for you to contact these supervisors, but to get some idea of the areas you want to work in and suggest some potential supervisors. If they don't match, we'll be, of course, happy to try and suggest others, but we want you to have looked on the web pages and thought about how your proposed research project matches with the interests of the existing supervisors. This is really very important for us to enable us to make the right connections and to ensure that the research project that you're proposing fits within the wider work that's going on within the centre. So these are taken from the advert, but please do identify at least one member of staff that you'd be interested in working with. So to tell you a little bit more about our research themes, again, our web pages are quite detailed, so you can look at specific disease areas, but they don't necessarily incorporate everything. So if you're working on infectious diseases and you're interested in epidemiology, mathematical modelling, or genomics analysis, then please do consider applying, and we can certainly absorb most of these areas. So our current research is split into 4 themes. They do overlap a little bit, but they broadly fit within these 4 areas. The first is really thinking about outbreak response. So we're calling this preparedness and response to emerging threats. And this builds a lot, of course, on a lot of the work that was done for things like the COVID pandemic, more recently for Mpox, and in the past for things like influenza and Ebola. And that covers a range of stages from really the early emergence or spillover events that occur in populations and trying to understand that threat of emergence through to early development of methods for early characterization of outbreaks, and then also looking at interventions to support the response. So we have a broad range of research programs here, and they also, as I should say on the next slide, are not necessarily limited to just epidemic emergence, but also emerging threats from things like climate change or drug resistance. The second area is what we're calling global health analytics, and this is where a large proportion of our work really focuses on infectious diseases that are endemic across the world. So we have large groups, for example, working on HIV, neglected tropical diseases, malaria, polio, hepatitis, a whole range of different pathogens. And in this area, we're really trying to focus on how one can use epidemiological methods to best understand the current trends and support how we can try to reduce the burden of these diseases. And that may be through things like vaccines or therapeutics. It may be through changing environmental practice. And we focus on both societal and global trends that are influencing patterns, as well as supporting implementation at the national and subnational level. And a large part of this is also thinking about how our surveillance programs work, what is being detected, and how intervention programs can be evaluated. The third theme is focusing around vaccines and therapeutics, and that's using our epidemiological skills earlier in the pipeline of development of new tools, and this can extend beyond just vaccines and therapeutics, for example, into vector control. Here we're thinking about how can we evaluate the utility of new interventions that are coming through from, for example, phase 2, phase 3 trials, help to generalize the results that are coming from those trials, and then also to evaluate where they fit in terms of wider impact once they start to be rolled out. And finally, the fourth area, which is a very large area as well, and actually involves some laboratory work, is on integrating pathogen genomic epidemiology. So this is really focusing on the genomes of the pathogens, not humans, but using this information and looking at doing sequencing work in the lab to inform surveillance and outbreak response across all the other 3 areas. And methodologically here, we're really focused on integrating understanding of how genome sequences are changing and the evolutionary models with the epidemiology models. We're also using these techniques in genomic surveillance to support zoonotic emergence or One Health approaches to assessing future risk, for example, surveillance in wastewater or surveillance in people in different settings. So across those 4 themes, they do interact and they're sort of broadly laid out, and we have a large sets of different research grants and interests from the different academic staff in the department, but we also have some cross-cutting interdisciplinary research areas that we are starting to build at the moment. The first is around climate and the environment, and I'm sure everyone will be very aware of the impact that this is having. We have programs looking at long-term changes in the climate, for example, changes to temperature and rainfall, and the impact that has on, in particular, vector-borne diseases such as dengue, malaria. We're also looking at integrating climate models that explore extreme weather events like we're seeing with cyclones or flooding or extreme heat, and how they might impact acutely at the time that they're happening on the populations that are affected, as well as in the longer term. We have ongoing work on modifications in land use, species invasion, particularly again with the vector-borne diseases, and also an allied area looking at population displacement and movement of people, which can have a fundamental impact on a whole range of infectious diseases by changing the demographies and placements of people. The second area, and this is very much a focus as well of the Jameel Institute, is building in economics into our models. So this ranges from the integration of behavioural responses into models, also thinking about taking public health impact beyond just the cost effectiveness, but building in both micro and macroeconomic impact of different interventions. And the third area is really a technical area where we're trying to really start to think about the advances and the technologies that are coming through very rapidly in the broad artificial intelligence field and how they may impact on how we best do epidemiology going forwards. So we've been very much involved over many years using machine learning, for example, to get a better understanding and, of data sets and pattern recognition. We're also looking at what we call generative or emulator models that can be used and trained on our dynamic models for faster fitting and simulation methods. And potentially also is quite a niche area looking at the use of large language models to support policy decision making. So that gives you a sense of what we do. What will we provide? What will you receive when you get here? So I mean, I've said we're a very large centre, a very active centre. We try to make sure our research environment is very welcoming. We have a lot of visitors coming in and out and run a lot of courses as well. So we have quite a vibrant atmosphere. There are, in addition to working one-to-one with the supervisors and their wider research team, we have additional activities that are run at the centre level that enable you to come together and learn more broadly outside of your particular research area about the ongoing science. This includes weekly seminars from a range of quite high-profile external speakers that are becoming very popular. We also hold seminars every other week internally for our students and early career researchers to present their work that's in progress, and that's in a very comfortable environment where you can receive feedback on the work you're doing with it and take that on board. We hold an annual away day where we think about our ongoing strategy, and we involve everybody there. That includes our PhD students, early career researchers, as well as academic staff and the wider technical and support staff. We run regular training courses. These are around once a week or once every 2 weeks on core skills, and these are demand driven. So we have a very strong research software engineering department that helps support software development, and they run quite a lot of training courses. For example, most of our software is in R, and we'll develop courses, for example, on package development or specific skills or specific packages that people frequently use. We also have broader skills training, research skills training on, for example, paper or grant writing or reviewing papers. And we also have a very active public engagement program. So for example, we take part regularly in Imperial's scientific exhibitions, which engage with the public and give you a different opportunity to explain your science. It's not all work. We want everyone to get to know each other and enjoy their working environment. So we are initiating regular social events that are open to everybody. And there were also finally additional opportunities to connect with researchers across Imperial. So we have a number of cross-faculty networks. We have strong collaborations with natural sciences, with mathematics and engineering, and with the business school. So there is a wider Imperial environment that is, again, very welcoming to visiting fellows. Where would you actually be? Well, this is our building in a picture here. It's taken on a sunny day. We can't guarantee there will be blue sky, but we do have a very nice new building, and we're based on the White City campus. So just to say a little bit more about this is a fairly new campus for Imperial. It's based in West London on land that used to actually be owned by the BBC. It's a large area and the campus is new, but we have quite a nice new vibrant environment. And it's a very innovative environment because we are co-located with other faculties. So, for example, in the building in which our laboratories are based, there's also engineering, and chemistry is just across from us. And there's also a number of startups and incubators. So it's really bringing together enterprise, industry, and science on one campus, which provides an exciting environment to be in. And what we can provide for you is there's very nice office space in this new building. It's quite light and airy, and we have desk space and the computing equipment that's required and any associated software. We have an internal high performance computing cluster, which we can provide training in its use. It's one of the training courses we often use. And we also have, because we have an inbuilt research software engineering team, we have software that specifically enables very easy use of clusters. So it can be used much like you use a desktop from an R package. If you are interested in undertaking a laboratory-based project, particularly around genomic epidemiology, we have a separate building where we have wet labs. So that space is available, and it's probably one of the nicest lab views that you'll get because it's right at the top of the building. And we have very nice meeting areas, informal areas, and cafeterias on campus as well, so to make it a welcoming environment. So finally, I'll just cover some of the frequently asked questions in terms of how to apply. The application site is open. You can find that on our website. It will have been shared with you and can be completed online until the end of November. And the latest starting date would be in March 2025. So we would encourage people to apply early. We are planning to review our applications on a rolling basis, so please don't leave it until the end date. If you're interested, please get moving with the applications because we may close the recruitment early if candidates have been identified. The area that does cause confusion is that we would like you to propose names of supervisors from the 2 web pages that the links have been provided. You don't have to contact these supervisors to submit an application, but they should be the best fit with your research area. So it just shows that you've engaged with the websites, you've put some thought into who you might like to work with, and that helps us with the matching process. And then for the submission, you need to cover how you meet the eligibility criteria that have been laid out and provide a very short academic CV. And you can write up to 4 pages in terms of the case for the fellowship. We don't expect this to be a perfectly structured research proposal that you would put in for external funding, but a good understanding of what you'd like to achieve in the research areas. And again, that helps us with the matching. And then finally, a letter of recommendation from your PhD institution. So these applications will come to us first, and we will review them, and then they would then be passed on back to the British Council. So the process will mean that we will be able to review the science, the match to the location, and then the eligibility checks will happen at the British Council. Okay, I'll end there and stop the sharing, and we can open to questions.
Thank you very much as well. So that is very comprehensive, and I think it's also really good opportunities for our participants today as well. So if you are listening, so if you have any questions just now, please also type in the chat box, and then we will cover soon. I think just to highlight again that in terms of the application process, what you are required to do is that you need to submit the documents as well as inputting information directly to Imperial College London. The websites are already provided in the chat as well. So please make sure that you save the link, or just go on the site and see how it looks like first. And also in terms of supervisor, so definitely there's no require that you need to contact the supervisor first, but what you need to do is that trying to get their information of what their expertise and whether or not those expertise are matching to what you are what really you want to do, and then you're gonna propose it upon your applications. once again, just to highlight the deadline is on the 30th of November, but as well already mentioned, so we are reviewing applications on a regular basis. So it might be closed earlier in case we have kind of like candidates are already identified. And as you are listening along, no worries, because actually this program we offer up to 3 grants. So there will be 3 fellows doing the same, or spending some time at the same unit as you. So don't worry if you feel like you will be alone, or for example, if you want to have someone to speak in the same language or share the same culture as you, so be assured that there will be some of your colleagues going to the same program as you. So there will be up to 3 people, but definitely we're gonna have a chance to let you get to know each other as well. Let me see real quick if we have any questions. Okay, there's no, okay, just now. So I think in this meantime, so maybe can I just have, as well, or maybe Hugo, Susanna, if you can share just a little bit of what you are doing there, just to give an idea as you are joining at this time just now.
Yeah, that's fine. And actually, that just reminds me, I forgot to introduce my colleagues, which I should have done earlier. So we have Dr. Hugo Turner here, who is a lecturer in the department, and Susanna Fisher, who is our scientific manager of the centre. So Hugo, maybe you could start off, because you have very strong links already with Thailand group.
Yeah, that'll be great. So hi, everyone. My name is Hugo Turner, and I'm a lecturer. What I do is I specialize in modeling, but also health economics. So I work on a lot of economic evaluations. So looking at the cost effectiveness of interventions. I spent around 3.5 years in the Wellcome Trust unit in Vietnam, which was sort of part of Oxford, where I ran its health economic team. And I work very closely with Thailand at the moment with HITAP, and we're working together on capacity strengthening. We're also looking at evaluating the dengue vaccines for Thailand. So we work very closely together, and we have visits to each other where we try and share knowledge and work together in partnership to answer these sort of research questions.
Great. Thanks, Hugo. Maybe I'll just say a little bit about my research when I'm not busy managing things. My primary research area is on malaria. So I work extensively in Africa and Asia, looking at, in particular at the moment, I'm very much focused on the malaria vaccine, which is being rolled out across Africa. But also interested in developing the same things for example, Plasmodium vivax, which is much more common in Southeast Asia. I'm also working on a project on Plasmodium knowlesi, which is a new human malaria that has been emerging, in particular in Malaysia and Indonesia, and looking at the impact that, first trying to assess the extent to which that might be human to human transmission, but also looking at the impact of environmental change on its spread. The second area that I work on is pandemic preparedness, outbreak response. And I actually have a visiting position in Singapore, so I work with their national Prepare program, which I know has many collaborations across the Southeast Asia region. And then there we're looking at how new tools such as maybe a broadly protective vaccine for future pathogens might be used. So trying to build the use case scenarios for different interventions for pathogens that we don't necessarily fully know the characteristics of. So essentially disease X type work.
Thank you. Actually, I think there's one question. So, okay, so I'm a second year PhD student in biomedical engineering, Faculty of Medicine. Can I apply to this scholarship? I'm interested in pathogen genomics. I have performed the molecular lab, but no experiences in NGS before. Is it possible for this field?
I can maybe just answer in terms of as long as you have laboratory experience. Yes, I think that would be fine if you have an interest, because the aim of this is obviously to provide some of that training, and we can provide that training. So if you have an interest and an idea that you'd like to explore, that would be fine.
And in terms of I think as a second year, so I think as long as it seems like you're gonna finish soon, so maybe you also apply. But I think on the other case, just make sure that just get to us, maybe just recheck again how it is like. But definitely in terms of area, so as Ra mentioned, so this is something that you are eligible to apply. Let me just, okay. I'm not so sure. Just to get a few minutes from. All right. There's I think there's one question. Okay. Let me check if okay. All right. คุณทิติครับ
Okay. Hello, everyone. Because I cannot type in the chat box, so can I ask a few questions? I wonder who can decide for how long that we will do the project at there, and is it enough for finish just one project? And what else? After we finish the project, we have to stay or come back to Thailand and stay in Thailand for how long?
I think the first part of the question was how long should the project be, and it's up to 12 months, ideally 6 to 12 months, because anything too short doesn't really give you the time to really get into the research project. So I think ideally going up to the 12 months is the best, if that's feasible, but we can consider slightly shorter. In terms of the return, I pass it back to you.
Yeah, in terms of the return, so there's no really kind of like a commitment of how long you need to stay in Thailand, but definitely after the programs, you need to get back to Thailand once, because of I think it is probably owing to the visas and also with the agreement as well. But once you are returned to Thailand, there's no limitation of for example, if it's the case where you just got back to Thailand, and then if you want to proceed to for other countries, that is also possible as well. But during the application, you will be asked anyway of how you foresee after this experience, that how you're gonna contribute or make use of it, not only in terms of your personal career development, but also including how in terms of socio-economic of the country as well. So yeah, that is something that needs to be aware of. But definitely there's no really like concrete commitment comparing to in case you may have heard for some funding opportunities, especially from Thai governments or things like that. There will also commitment, but in this case there's no restrictions for that.
Thank you. Another question, is it enough, just 1 year, is it enough for finish the project? You expect to us to finish the project, right?
Yes, I think with all research, you often find new avenues and new things to do. So I think we can jointly help support and make sure that the project is something that can be achieved in 1 year, or at least have outputs in 1 year. But a major part of this is also your own training and development. to enable you to both be a future leader and to take this knowledge back to Thailand or your home country. So we would certainly hope that this wouldn't be a single year and then we would never be in contact again. We see this as a way of building the bridges and building those future research connections as well, and particularly with other researchers at the same career stage as you are. So hopefully this could lead to future joint applications, for example.
Yeah. I think just to add on what Ezra had mentioned, I think it may be definitely for your stay, it can be up to 12 months. But in terms of project, you can think of a bigger project that can be more than a year as a project running, duration. But I think just to provide an idea for you as well, that you can think of split them into smaller phases, and then if you can think of, for example, like phase 1, if you to spend it at Imperial and then use this program as a extra resource for your phase 1 of your project. So what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, and then how you think working with Imperial or applying for this chance at Imperial gonna help you in not only to pursuing the project, but also as Ra mentioned, like some skills that you hopefully to get by working with Imperial, and then to develop with your personal skill, and then which will allow you to achieve the projects, or that phase of your project. And then that could be also something about continuation. Like, for example, if you're saying that in the next phase you are thinking of do this and that, once after you got back to Thailand or things like that. So that could be, I think that should be give you an idea, and I hopefully that is helpful for you as well.
Thank you.
I think that's a question. Do the project focus on or require a publication? So we not really require that we don't expect that then there needs to be a publication as kind of like an outcome for this program. But what we are looking for or expecting for this program is that there's not only kind of like an opportunity for you to be exposed or experience with like UK institution, but also fostering your partnership as for example, if you, in case you are going there, so we're expecting that at least you can get to know somebody or some colleagues at in the UK or at Imperial, and then you can build relationship or partnership with them, and also fostering your research experience in the UK as well. Okay, I think so far so good. Let me just share my slide back once again. So once again, I just would like to share with you the information as shown in this slide as well. So there's 2 QR codes. So the one on the bottom right hand side is the further information about this opportunity. So it will be directly links to you to Imperial's website, so you can find more information, as well as the list of supervisors that you can check that what are their expertise, and then who you might want to work with during your fellowship scheme as well. And another QR is our feedback form for today's session. So we would like to know how it is going for you, and what is your impression about our information section for today. And once again, if you have any inquiries or further information, so you can also contact us at the British Council, or also contact directly to Imperial College London as well, in case of any specific about this fellowships program. Other than that, we also available on LinkedIn, Facebook, and X or Twitter, as well as shown on the screen. So I will just share with the feedback form to the link real quick in the chat below. So yeah, once again, our deadline is closed on 30th of November by midnight at the UK time. but we may close early on if suitable candidates are found. We will also share this recording and also the related document after today's section as well. So without any further questions or anything else, so I just would like to thank you very much everyone for joining today, and also wish the best of luck and the best success of your application, and thank you for your time. And also thank you to our colleagues from Imperial College London as well, Susanna, Esla, and Hugo. Thank you very much for joining today, and just hopefully we have some more application. Yeah. All right. Bye now. Have a good one.